Welcome to the future of customer journeys. Today, we will show you how you can move to a real-time, moments-based marketing approach. My name is Timo Koberg and I'm the head of product marketing for the Journeys portfolio at Adobe in EMEA. And I'm very happy to welcome Ryan Hickling to the stage today, who's my co-presenter. Ryan, quick intro from your side.
Excellent. Thanks, Timo. Yeah, so hi, everybody. My name's Ryan Hickling. I'm a solutions consultant at Adobe, and I've been here for just over 3 years now, particularly specialize in the customer journey management side of the business, so especially Adobe Journey Optimizer. And today I'll be taking you through 3 very quick, bite-sized chunks of the solution itself.
Quick kind of question to you. What is your favorite consumer brand that you engage with on a constant basis, that you buy all the time from? What does make them so special? Is it the best products, the best service, the best price? Well, probably it's a mixture of all of that, right? But at the end of the day, we at Adobe believe, it's all about the experience, and people buy experiences and not products, right? So you see some examples here of kind of the impact of experience and this becoming ultimately the number one driver of brand choice over product or price, impacting customer retention, employee satisfaction, revenue growth, and order value. And consumer expectations are really that high. They expect the best experiences constantly on every engagement and every touch point. So as an organization, marketing needs to evolve from a campaign-based approach to a moments-based approach. And of course, then also customer experience needs to be a mandate across the entire organization. So it's not just marketing anymore driving the customer experience. So how can we get there, right? So if we look back 10, 15 years, you see that the overall changes in marketing customer journeys have actually been pretty drastically, although they have been gradually over time. So 10, 15 years we see here, it was all about the single channel. So channel focused, one-off messages. Most of the companies and marketers were focused on outbound only, targeting in many cases either the entire customer base or in some cases maybe all the subscribers to the app, to an email newsletter, for example. That worked pretty well, although very basic personalization was involved here, and also the marketing organization was focused on the channels. So you had your acquisition advertising team, the web team, the email team. In the last couple of years, leading marketers and brands have tried to get closer to what we call cross-channel marketing. So the concept here is to connect the individual experiences, channels, and devices to a more holistic, consistent experience for the consumer, for your customers. Obviously, outbound was still the name of the game, but it was combined with inbound signals coming from customers. A very classical example here is the abandoned cart, right? So you put something in your shopping cart, you don't close the purchase, you don't finish the purchase, and then a brand reaches out to you, following up maybe with an email or with a push notification, for example. Again, moving away from one size fits all to more targeting of segments. So new customers, existing customers, customers who don't engage anymore. So it's really kind of putting, instead of targeting everyone, putting these customers in specific buckets to better serve them and make the message much more relevant on what they're looking for in that specific part of the journey. And the personalization of messages and journeys in cross-channel marketing is much more about a profile. So over time, you have different data points, demographic data, and other data points, and you try to bring that together and really focus on the profile to personalize the message and make it much more contextual. And finally, kind of the setup of the organizations and marketing teams is more about the different stages of the life cycle instead of the channels like it was done a couple of years ago. So where are we heading to when we're talking about a moments-based real-time marketing approach? Well, clearly consumers have such high expectations today that they want every engagement with a brand, with a consumer brand, to feel natural, seamless, and much more like a conversation rather than just a brand reaching out and trying to push yet the next promotion, yet the next kind of offer that they might not really need. So much more about conversation, seamless engagement. We also talk about kind of the convergence of this inbound and outbound communications, but also online and offline. So whether I'm engaging with a brand through their website, maybe going onto the web shop and buying something online, or if I'm going to a store or like a physical location, this should be seamless, and actually the brand should understand what the customer, the consumer wants in that specific moment. So it's much more about the individual, targeting the individual. It's much more about the context. Where is this individual customer in their individual journey? That could be, they're close to buying, they already bought something, but also sometimes it's just the context of the location. They are in a specific location, or maybe, the weather is very hot right now. Those are all kind of contextual data points that make the message and the individual journey just so much better and relevant for the customer. And like I said before, and like Forrester states, customer experience becomes a mandate across the entire organization. And the setup then for the marketing teams and the entire organization is much more about the end-to-end journey rather than just focusing on one part of the life cycle here. So this is where the market is going. This is where companies want to invest and want to get better in. So now obviously the question comes up, how do you get there? And we have 3 key steps that we will walk you through today in terms of examples, best practices, what Adobe customers are doing, but also Ryan will show you great examples of how this looks in our application. So first of all, very clearly it starts with data. So you need to understand your customers better, but at the same time, it's not just about understanding kind of the customers and bringing the data points together, but making them actionable in many cases in real time. And then the next step is combining the programs and the campaigns that you have been running and optimizing and investing in for years, which is the outbound communication and the segment-based, then harmonize that with individual customer moments that are really, in many cases, the moments of truth that are really important for you. And lastly, the big question that we also get from a lot of companies that we work with, at the end of the day, this is all great, but how do I actually scale personalization if I'm talking about so many different customers, millions of customers, many different touch points, a lot of complexity there. And we will give you some great recipes here. So let's dive right into it and start with the data point. So how to create a true customer understanding. So first of all, we have to acknowledge that, data management can be very complex. So if you're just looking at this illustration here, you see there's a number of different interactions, touch points, devices, and channels that can create kind of signals from customers. So obviously you need to stitch these together, understand them, tie them to a profile that is ideally also real time, and then really make the data actionable. So this is what we did with the latest Adobe technology, building that real-time customer profile, which is really the foundation for everything that we do today. And you see a great example here from one of our customers from the CPG industry, where they actually talk about up to 25 different sources of information that ultimately may make up the individual real-time customer profile. So you see some things on here that are not surprising, right? Your CRM system, customer data platforms have been a big trend in the market in the last years. But also, you should think about all of the different systems and sources that are third party that can just make your communication so much better. So loyalty information, if you have a loyalty program, website and mobile engagement, right? The behavioral data that you can capture, all the way to preferences, point of sale data, even call center data for this brand, because some of those customers still call into the call center. So you want to be aware of anything that's going on. And this is really setting you up nicely for success and for engagement in the right moment, whether it's, with a segment-based approach or with individual journeys and communications. So with that little setup, I want to hand it over to Ryan to show us a little bit of that in action with our latest application, Adobe Journey Optimizer.
We've talked a little bit about how we can gain a better understanding of our recipients, of our customers using the Adobe Experience Platform, and what that means from an Adobe Journey Optimizer perspective. So Journey Optimizer here is designed to enable you to bring in all of those disparate pieces of data that you have as a customer. So whether that be streaming event data against digital touch points you own, so such as, what customers have been doing, what have they been interacting with on your websites, within your mobile apps, this type of thing. So have they been engaging with us in customer call centers? Have they been in store? What type of data can we track? Where are those sources of data coming from, and how do we stream those into platform to utilize for segmentation and personalization perspective? So just quickly, what you see on the screen here, this is Adobe Journey Optimizer running on the Adobe Experience platform. And if we're focusing on data to begin with, initially, what we have here is what we call a data source catalog. So as a business, you will have many different sources of data that you potentially want to stream data into platform in real time, or potentially batch data in from many different third-party applications and sources. So as well as having traditional Adobe applications here and Adobe data collection technologies, such as our Web SDK and our App SDK, which would enable us to pull those events into platform in real time. We have advertising platforms, so Google. We have cloud storage data locations. So if you're the business, if you're storing your customer data on things like an Amazon S3 bucket or an Azure Blob, for example, I can easily set up a connection to retrieve that data to pull it into the real-time customer profile. And of course, this includes custom streaming endpoints as well. So any custom third-party data points that you as a business might want to utilize for real-time data into platform, even if you don't see a connector ready for it here, which we are constantly extending over time, by the way. So we work with our customers to add on new data sources. We can configure a custom streaming endpoint here for you as a business. So this is how we retrieve data or ingest data into platform. So what does that look like against a user profile? So very quickly, this is an example profile, one of my colleagues, Marius, here at Adobe. We can see here from a business perspective, I have instant access to view basic attributes, so address, gender, date of birth, loyalty level. All of this is customizable for you as a business and will depend on your own marketing requirements. So this is where, as a marketeer, I gain access to these attributes and I can utilize these attributes within my campaigns for personalization and segmentation. We have an identity graph here, which I won't go into today, but platform is able to stitch identities or different IDs that you have against a recipient across the business. This might be a CRM ID, first-party cookie ID, or Experience Cloud IDs in the case of Adobe, email, telephone numbers. All of these can be stitched together to form that one cohesive real-time customer profile with which you can track attributes again. So I have a complete list of all the data attributes or points against Marius's profile here that I can merge into communications for broadcasting, or that I can use to form segmentation or part of my segmentation. Now, as well as this, we touched on events, so the type of real-time event data that's streaming into platform. So in this instance, what has Marius been doing on my website? In this instance, I've got page views streaming against Marius's profile, so I can tell exactly what he's been looking at online. This could be my mobile app, for example, so I can tell what he's doing within the app activity, or it could be any other type of events that I define as a business. So all of these can be used when I come to segmentation. And just quickly, when we talk about segments, Adobe Journey Optimizer here provides a very easy to use, marketer friendly drag and drop environment for taking those attributes here on the left hand side. So say, for example, if I wanted to put in Marius's gender here, I can drag and drop his gender straight into this existing segmentation and control who I'm selecting based on those attributes that I have against the real-time customer profile. And you've also seen those events. So any of those real-time events, so what has Marius been looking at online? What product categories is he currently shown an interest in? I could pull those into this segmentation, combine them together. And in this instance, say, for example, anytime this year, I might say, has Marius shown an interest in looking at a particular product? In this instance of type loan, for example, I could be a finance customer, I could be a bank. Has Marius been online? Has he been browsing my loan product category? This could form the basis of a segment here in platform that I can use for execution through Adobe Journey Optimizer. So that brings us to the end of the data segment. Over to you, Timo.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ryan. That was really, really great to see that in action with Adobe Journey Optimizer. So clearly, we've seen kind of how a profile looks like in real life, and also how to segment and use the real-time events, which are critical moments in individual customer journeys. One last piece on the data side and a better understanding of your customers is, of course, then also the reporting side and understanding the journeys. And I just wanted to show you quickly here customer journey analytics, which really allows business users to combine and analyze data from Adobe Journey Optimizer with customer data from other channels. So, in my previous example, I talked about the customer who also uses call center data. So you can include call center data here, point of sale data, for example, other activation channels that are not even managed through Adobe Journey Optimizer, such as paid media, for example. So this gives you a really, really good view to analyze the customer journey across different channels that are available to you in Adobe Experience Platform. So you might, answer the question, what impact did the latest email promotion journey have on my in-store purchases? So this omni-channel end-to-end journey approach that I talked about at the beginning really, comes to life here with the dashboard in the individual view that you can see in Customer Journey Analytics from Adobe here. All right, let's move over to the second topic for today that we wanted to cover, which is super critical in today's, consumer led world, because, marketing for many, many years has done a great job of building programs, personalizing the messages and the journeys. But most of the communications is actually still decided on, when to send and who to send to by the marketer and by the brand itself. Obviously, the kind of scheduled on-demand audience or segment-based engagement is critical when you think about things like, sending out a newsletter, or maybe, onboarding programs, email programs that you have in place, or maybe in some cases, even some sophisticated things like churn prevention, if you have like a subscription business, for example. So obviously we want to support that with Adobe Journey Optimizer, but we also want to, support you in realizing the kind of reality here with consumers really, wanting individual experiences that really speak to them as a person and to their individual, situation and part of the journey that they're in. So an example that you see here is location-based messages. So, if you're close to a point of sale to a store and you have opted into the app as a consumer, brands can engage with you and send you relevant offers. They can give you additional information, maybe on opening hours or specific, activities or things that you can do in that store or in that branch of like a bank or maybe insurance. So this is really enhancing your experience as a consumer. Of course, this could also be things that are more mobile focused. So if you're opening up the app for the first time, there can be, welcome messages. There can be tutorial and enablement messages for like the app to really show you kind of the capabilities, what you can do in that app specifically. Or of course, loyalty points are another example. So these one-to-one moments are really translating into customer-led one-to-one real-time journeys instead of the marketer or the brand deciding, well, I think now is the right time to engage. So really, really making, your messaging so much more powerful and relevant. And then we also have something that's called business events in Adobe Journey Optimizer, which are ultimately signals coming from third-party systems that are critical to your business. So, dependent on your industry, you might have like transactional systems, ticketing systems, inventory systems that give you additional information. So one example here could be just, a mobile checkout, for example, has been done. Or maybe a product that somebody was interested in yesterday and that was not available is today back in stock and might even be available in a point of sale, brick and mortar store close to somebody's location. So stitching together these data in real time and then sending these messages and entire journeys that can start for the individual are so powerful in today's fast-paced world where consumer expectations are so high. And lastly, I wanted to talk about the other extreme from, individual journeys and messages all the way to, engaging with your entire subscriber or customer base, because there are use cases where you still want to engage with everyone. So for example, there's a flash sale that you have, or maybe a product launch message, or just, customer service blast informing people about opening hours, about new products and services that you have. So these require immediate broad-based messaging where you send millions of messages in a matter of minutes. Of course, also in the media entertainment industries, that's critical for breaking news or maybe for a football club that just signed a new player. So really, really great use cases. I would encourage you to think through the 4 different types of engagements here. And I talked about fan engagement with football clubs already. And here's a great example from a related industry, which is Formula One. You probably all know Williams F1 racing team, a racing team with a lot of heritage and kind of a lot of history, 44 years old. They have a huge global customer base, fan base with over 340 million global Williams F1 fans. But Williams wasn't able to engage with all of these customers because they didn't have the kind of end relation. So the first challenge was really kind of to engage with fans that are at Formula One races, but also online, of course. And then the vision was really to create a best-in-class omnichannel digital fan engagement that goes beyond just kind of the email programs that they did before. Use cases are definitely, segmentation of offers, cross-sell and upsell based on demographic data, but then also geo-location data and even psychographic traits here as well. So some of the examples that you can see here are the first journeys that they set up, obviously around email programs that they started with, but then also, mobile push messages all the way through SMS. So you see here now real-time event information from races, like qualifying starts, for example. They are engaging with their fans, in real time, all of the time. So great example from one of our customers using Adobe Journey Optimizer. Again, I want to hand it over to Ryan now to show us journeys and journey management in action.
For our second video into Adobe Journey Optimizer, I'm going to be focusing primarily on the activation side of the tool. So we've already talked a little bit about data. We've already seen the real-time customer profile, segmentation, and how we can stream events into platform to help users fall into and out of segments in real time as it happens, essentially. But how do we activate on those? What can we do with this? So to begin with, from the activation perspective, I'll talk a little bit about Adobe Assets Essentials, or AEM Assets Essentials, that's built in as part of Adobe Journey Optimizer here. So with Journey Optimizer, if you as a business are potentially struggling with all of your asset management at the moment, with all of your different channels, taking care of all of the different image slices, the videos, the media, the GIFs that go out as part of your marketing campaigns, AEM Assets Essentials here is built into Adobe Journey Optimizer and integrates with our existing Creative Cloud stack as well. So if you have internal designers or agency partners who are working with the likes of Photoshop and InDesign, we can actually integrate those tools here in one cohesive place so that as soon as designers have signed off on assets, they can publish them up into your Assets Essentials instance here within Adobe Journey Optimizer and essentially allow you to utilize any imagery or assets that you create, folders, add assets manually, etc., to drag and drop them within your own creatives. And I'll show you how to do that next. So from a message perspective, Adobe Journey Optimizer here is designed to be the authoring location for all of your emails, your SMSs, your push notifications. This is where your marketers come to create those messages, to manage your content, to insert personalization, and obviously dynamic content as well to help to make sure you're sending the right message at the right time. So as an example, we can see here, I've got a push notification on the screen for an iOS device. I can expand this, change content, change the title, change the on-click behavior to whether it deep links to my app, for example, just opens the app or directs them to a web URL. Also from an email authoring perspective, if I jump over to the email tab over here, I can load up our email designer, which for those of you who are familiar with what we call modular email design or modular email template design, we have a very marketer friendly interface here where I can instantly start highlighting different images, different text, link attributes over here to start amending styling, font size, color, link location, pull in those images from AEM Assets Essentials, even link through to Adobe Stock here if I'm an existing Adobe Stock user to pull in assets from Adobe Stock if I want. I can change modular template locations, bring in different structure components, amend things like text, buttons, drop in videos, images, social links. So this is where I preview, create, and test all of my email creatives from one location here within Adobe Journey Optimizer. What do we do after we've uploaded all of our content into AEM Assets Essentials? We've created our beautiful looking emails and push notifications off the back of that. Well, this is really where some of the heart of Adobe Journey Optimizer comes in, and this is our journey canvas. So over here on the left-hand side, I've accessed my journey canvas by selecting journeys here. Now, what you see here is a collection of what we call activities that I've dragged and dropped onto the canvas to create an experience or a workflow, essentially, for every individual that drops into it. So this is a generic kind of a banking or an FSI insurance upsell experience that we've been working with some of our customers. So this could, be very similar to your business when you're looking to upsell additional product categories, for example. So starting over here on the left-hand side, I have a segment qualification event. So this is just really from, as a bank, I might be detecting flight purchase activity on behalf of my customers. If I detect that somebody has purchased some type of flight or holiday related activity against their account, for example, I can then choose to immediately follow up with a holiday insurance offer. So this could be a push notification. It could be an email message. I'm then using wait activities here to wait a set period of time. So in this case, 3 days before I add in additional conditions to check to see whether there's been any interest in that holiday insurance upsell. So, have they phoned through? Have they clicked through on the email? If they have, then follow up with an offer. If they haven't, maybe send them some other different type of communication. So this is a very, it's quite simple experience to understand, all based off the real-time streaming event of somebody demonstrating some activity here against their account that we want to use for upsell. Alternatively, another very basic example here, we're also reacting to real-time geolocation data. So say, for example, if somebody comes within a certain distance of a store or location, I want to be able to react to that, to prompt a push notification, send them an offer for this particular date and time for the very store that they have just come into proximity to. So I can do this with obviously reacting to those geolocation events that are flowing into platform in real time as well. And finally, just one final example. We've all talked a lot about reacting to events that are specific to user profiles, but Platform and Adobe Journey Optimizer allows you as a business to define also your own business events. So what could a business event be? If I'm, say, a gaming or gambling business, I might want to react to, say, in-play sporting events as they happen in real time. So imagine it's the World Cup. I want to be able to react to maybe a player being taken off with an injury at any point in time during that game. That can be a real-time event that I feed into Platform. I can then select all of my users who I know have an active bet on that very game that the player injury has occurred in. I can then check to see whether or not there's an active offer. For example, do I have any other in-play bets available on that very game? And if there is, let's send those people with bets on the game that the player's just been taken off with an injury, and push notifications for additional in-play opportunities. So opens up a vast amount of possibilities depending on the business events you think would be relevant for your very own business.
Thank you so much, Ryan. That was Adobe Journey Optimizer in action with the Journey Canvas. Really, really powerful, really great use cases from different industries. So thanks for showing us that. I want to now dive into the last topic for today, and that's a pretty big one. How to really achieve personalization at scale, right? That's probably a question or a challenge that we face as marketers every day. And, if we do this right, there's actually a lot of business value in personalization and scaling that across different channels, touch points, devices, and so on and so forth. So McKinsey said end of last year that companies that grow faster actually have more of the revenue coming from personalization, 40% more than comparing their slower counterparts. Companies that are investing in one-to-one personalization compared to basic personalization that I covered at the beginning, they actually see, business KPIs really being much higher. So 10 times higher conversion rates, for example, compared, basic to one-to-one personalization. Or revenue per visitor being up to 8 times higher. Or in some cases, average order value being 9 times improved. So this really shows the power of personalization. And we often get the question, well, how do I get started, right? We have so many different touch points and opportunities to personalize in the journey. And that is just visualized here kind of through the different phases of a journey and life cycle, from awareness, discovery, research, purchase, and then post-purchase. So I want to give you one concrete example from one of our customers on how they actually tested some of the personalization, what works best, because if you can test it, if you can optimize it over time, the business impact will be even higher. Sky is obviously a well-known media and entertainment brand, one of the biggest brands in Europe and around the globe. And Sky has many own digital properties, like maybe their set-top box, the website, different apps that they use and share with their customers and where customers engage on. And what they did, they wanted to display offers to upgrade customers to different packages, and they had decided on 4 different variations or control groups to test this personalization. One was the one-size-fits-all approach, so very basic, kind of same offer for everyone. B was a more randomized control group based on eligibility for a specific product. And then, version C is a rule-based approach with some more intelligence built in. And finally, D is the all-in machine learning-based automated personalization that was driven by Adobe Sensei, which is Adobe's machine learning framework across all of our clouds and solutions. So what do you think? Where was the winning solution? Well, probably not a big surprise. The machine learning really made the biggest impact here. Almost 67% lift in upgrade rate using automated personalization, which, at the end of the day, then also contributed to multi-million pounds lift in annualized revenue. Followed by control group C, which was on a close to 55% lift in upgrade revenue using the rule-based personalization. So really important to test things, optimize things, and test different experiences for your customers, because one size does not fit all anymore. So with that, I want to hand it over for one last time to Ryan to show some of the built-in intelligence in Adobe Journey Optimizer that really can help you scale personalization.
So for our final session today within Adobe Journey Optimizer, we're going to talk a little bit about decisioning and how we can ensure we're selecting what is essentially the most appropriate offer, piece of content to any particular individual at any point in time. So what do we mean by decisioning? Within Adobe Journey Optimizer and Experience Platform, we're able to take advantage of the offer decisioning engine within Adobe Journey Optimizer. And what this is it offers you a library, essentially, of what we call offers. So truly to personalize at scale, but brands are obviously aware of the sheer amount of effort, complexity often that goes into producing content and ensuring all those different variants of content are available to be able to present to users when you need to present them. So depending on what conversations you're having with end users, that might be in an email, it might be in a push notification, it could be on the website, it could be within an app, but it could also be whilst you're live on a telephone call. How do you present the most appropriate content for a user when they're actually on the other end of the telephone line and talking to a customer service representative? Well, this is where our offer decisioning management capabilities come in. So what you see on the screen right now is essentially a library of available offers. So here I've used a fictional brand called Luma for today's purposes, who are a retail brand, and Luma themselves have populated lots of different pieces of content. So we can see here we've got an offer for a 10% discount on women's category clothing, for example. They have separate offers available for loyalty club membership, equipment categories rather than clothing categories, as well as men's categories, this type of thing. So every relevant piece of content that Luma as a brand wants to be able to display in real time to their end users, they simply upload and manage here within the offer management library you see here. Now, what is an offer? So let's dig into a particular offer itself. So here is a sales deals offer itself. It is a personalized offer, so it contains personalized attributes from the real-time profile here in order to personalize it for an individual. The offer itself is available between a certain period, so I have a start and end date for this particular piece of content as to when I want it to be displayed. I've tagged it as a deal, so this is useful for returning deal-related offers to particular individuals as well. I can select that in future. But crucially, an offer is made up of a series of different representations. So this is the format of the offer and where I want that offer to be displayed. So in this case, I have a mobile representation, which is simply a piece of JSON. So as this offer itself is available via API and in real time, I, as a customer, could have my mobile app enabled to essentially make a call into Adobe Journey Optimizer to send me back the most relevant offer in a JSON form for me to display in the app itself. So this is what would be sent back to the mobile app. And as well as that, obviously I have an email version here, which is simply email, HTML and CSS, which I could go in and edit if I want to, but this is what would be merged in and personalized within the email should I send this at point of broadcast for any particular individual who's relevant for seeing this communication. And obviously offers themselves have eligibility rules against them. So those segments that we saw created earlier on in platform, I could have a segment here specific for users who I want to be eligible to see this deal. And they will only see this piece of content if they fall into that segment. So the moment they're excluded from that segment, they will no longer be eligible to receive this offer. So quite quickly, this allows me a simple singular place where I can manage all of my content, manage the content eligibility, so who can see it and when they can see it as well. Crucially, I can take all of these individual offers, combine them into what we call a decision. And in this particular example, I have a 5% discount decision for either the men or the women category. So in this instance, I have potentially 19 different individual offers, so 19 separate pieces of content that I could choose to display on either the website, the mobile, or even as text within an SMS, for example. So then simply as a customer, I say, let's take this decision, make that decision on the fly in real time for every individual, whether they're on website, whether they're on the mobile app, whether this is an SMS text message, and display whatever Luma offer here, one of 19, is most relevant for them at that particular moment in time. But not only this, we can also relate content or surface those offers based on what we call formula and AI machine learning models. So I have simple formulas here in platform, so I can do things like rank offers based on customer propensity. So the higher the propensity it is for a customer to convert, the more likely they are to see a piece of content. And if I click over to AI models as well and just quickly show you one of the built-in models we have available for customers to use within platform at the moment, we can do that here. Essentially, these AI models are designed for surfacing the most relevant offer specific to what's most likely to convert, and that conversion metric could be a simple click-through. Excellent. So here we have my AI ranking model. And if I click edit, this is ranking my offers based on conversion rate, with offers with higher conversion rates shown first. So again, this is all operating on data within the Experience platform, and it's live in real time.
Thank you, Ryan. A lot of intelligence built into Adobe Journey Optimizer and available for you to use right away to really scale personalization. So I just want to sum up what you've seen in today's session. So first of all, Adobe Journey Optimizer helps you move from campaigns to moments. So it really fuses all the live data together into unified real-time profiles to power the personalization that you need. Secondly, you can augment that with behavioral data to shape the customer profile and to just make your messages, your journeys much more contextual based on behavior, location, and so many more information that can also come from third-party systems that we call business events. And then Ryan showed you today Adobe Journey Optimizer, which is the single place for you to build any journey, whether it's one-to-one real-time journeys, business event-based journeys, segment-based journeys, or broad-based messaging to all of your customers. So you can really tackle all the 4 levels of customer engagement here as well. And then in the last part, we've seen live in action and from customers that there's a lot of intelligent decisioning and also a centralized offer library available in Adobe Journey Optimizer today that really can help you scale that personalization. And Ryan also showed you the native asset management capabilities that are included out of the box with Adobe Journey Optimizer here. And we talked about some examples from our customers like Williams and Sky, but we have many more examples here from our own Adobe Lightroom team, who increased free to paid conversions by 15%, all the way to global theme park companies and financial services and e-commerce companies here as well. So really great results across the board. With that, I want to close today's session and I want to say thank you very much. Please reach out if you have questions or if you want to see more of Adobe Journey Optimizer. Thank you so much.